Welcome to jQuery video series, and this is part 7. In last video we saw how to download a jQuery and how can we add jQuery in our projects. So today we are going to discuss what is document.ready. So by theory, document.ready is an event which gets fired as soon as the page loading is completed. Now this is just a theory, but I'm going to prove this to you after a practical demonstration. Right, so we have a demo. So if you remember, like if you want to download a jQuery, then we go to jquery.com, then we click on this download link, and then we look at the uncompressed version, click on that, and we see that, and then we save the file and it goes onto my desktop. Then from there I come to Visual Studio where I have a project, and I simply come here and I paste. So I have my jQuery file right here. Next, let's get organized bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder name as scripts, right? So where I keep all my scripts, and I'm going to push jQuery into that. Next thing, I need the reference of jQuery file in my head section. So I'm going to drag jQuery from here into my head section. The tool is Visual Studio, so that's what it makes easy. Otherwise, in other tools you have to write a script tag, then you have to specify the source where your jQuery file is located, okay, and then you have to specify the type as JavaScript. Okay, so this is what we saw in the last video, right? So now we want to see what's document.ready. So before we move into that, let's take one more step and let's see. We have a task here that says we need to select all p tags. Okay, so let's check the HTML what we have. So you can see this is a pure HTML. We have a head, we have a body, and within the body I have the h2 tag, which is my heading, and I got a bunch of paragraphs, which is very simple and straightforward. So at present I'm going to do the view in browser and see what I'm getting. So this is what I'm getting, which is correct. I have no issues. And now the presentation tells me that I need to select all the p tags using a jQuery. So now I'm going to write a code. Okay, now don't panic, because I'm going to explain what that code does, but just try to follow along with me what I'm trying to do. So first I'm going to introduce a script tag, okay, and then I'm going to say the type is going to be JavaScript, alright, and then within that I will say this. Now let me explain what this line means. Okay, so I have done the breakup over here. So you can see the first thing is dollar. When you start with dollar, it means we are starting with jQuery. It means we are giving an instruction to jQuery that we are going to do something. The next thing is you want to select something. I'm saying I want to select all the p tags. So how do you select a p tag? Using specifying a tag name, which is p tag over here, and there are a bunch of more selectors out there, so we are going to look at them one by one. So at present I'm telling jQuery, hey jQuery, find me all the p tags what you have on this page. So if you look at this page, I can see 5 paragraphs. Next, what we are telling jQuery to use the CSS function to manipulate the border property of this the paragraph and give them a red border of 1px, so which is fair enough. So the first step is an instruction that we are initializing the jQuery. We are telling jQuery find me all the p tags, and in the end we are using the CSS function to manipulate the CSS, right? So the same thing which I have written over here. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the size a bit high, and now let's do the preview, view in browser, and there you go. So you can see, right, all my paragraphs are selected and all of them have the border. With one line of code I'm able to do so many things. Imagine if I was doing this using a JavaScript code, then my life would have been more tedious. Now let's change the color to green and let's test again, view in browser, and you can see the red has turned into the green. This was my previous output and this is my current output, right? So I'm gonna close this thing. Okay, so we are pretty good. So you get the idea, like, if you want to change anything on your page, then how can you do it? This is one of the example, how do you select element. So again, the bottom line is, how do you select? First is you instruct jQuery. Second, you specify the selector on which you're going to do the operation. So this is a p tag. Okay, let's say 1 second. Over here you can see the h2 tag as well. So what if I come here and I change this to h2, and now if I call for a preview, view in browser, so you can see the h2 gets selected and the paragraphs are fine, right? So you're getting my point, right? So it's the selector, how you selecting it, and then it's fairly simple, like what are the things you want to manipulate. So you get it, right? So this is how the jQuery works. Now you can notice that I have written the script tag, within the body tag itself. In most of the cases you have seen, mostly the script tag goes into the head section, right? So let me save this thing and let's do the preview. So at present, I'm going to change this h2 to p tag. So I want to select all the p tags and I want to change the border of all of them to green, right? So let me save that and let me preview. So okay, so there are no changes. And why there are no changes? And let me Control X and Control V again, and let me save and let me do the preview again. Now there are changes. So what's going on? So when do you write the script at the top here, it doesn't work. When you write here, it works. Well, if you remember, the flow of the HTML document moves from the top to bottom, right? So imagine while rendering this document, the HTML parser engine moves down and keeps on looking at as it moves further. So every time it receives the instruction. So when I say title is equal to this, then you can see I get the title jQuery in action series, right? But when it moves further, it sees there is a specific task which I need to execute. So it understands the jQuery, that jQuery is trying to manipulate the p tags and apply the border, but the body has not arrived yet. So my point is, the body rendering is not done, and before that I'm asking jQuery to manipulate those things, so which is not possible, right? So that is the reason why when I do something like this, well, where the whole body rendering is completely done, and now I'm asking jQuery to apply the changes, and let me view in browser, so we all know that it's gonna work, right? And that's pretty straightforward. So that's where the document.ready comes in. So let me go back to the slides and let's see what it is. So like I said, document.ready is an event and it gets fired after the page loading is complete, right? So after the page gets completed, I can use this function, and within that I can instruct to do the following task, right? So let's copy this thing again and let's move this thing up. Okay, and how do you write document.ready function? So like I said, it's a function. So dollar, we are calling the jQuery and we are saying document, and then we are saying when the document gets ready, that means when the document gets finished, I want you to do something. So what I want you to do, for that I have to write a function. Okay, so this is a function, and within that I want you to perform this action. Control V, Control S, Control KD. So you can see, right? So this time we are writing the code up in the upper section, in the head section, not in the body. And I'm saying when the document gets completed, execute this. So after the execution of this, it's gonna execute this function, this method. So let's have a look. I'm gonna preview in browser and it works. So you get it, right? How the document.ready works. Okay, let me close the others. Oh, I don't want them. Okay, and let's have a look at the presentation. So you got the idea, right? And this is what we did. And when we added the jQuery code on the top, it didn't work. the script tag, remember. And okay, so again, this is just a summary now. Finish the document loading first and now perform the action, and that makes sense, right? So that's what we saw. I was supposed to, go back to the presentation and show you the things, but I skipped the presentation and I explained you the whole technical part. So the takeaway from this is the document.ready is nothing but it's an event which gets executed after your body gets loaded completely, and then it does what it's supposed to do. Right, so I hope this helps. Up next we are going to look at jQuery syntax in more detail. Alright, so I hope to see you there, and if you have any queries or issues, then please comment below and let me know. Alright,